Hey guys, Sax here. Today, I'm going to answer the question, how do I get the exotic class items in the Edge of Fate? But some of you might be thinking, why is this dude making a video about this in the year of our Lord 2025? The reason is, you guys asked for it. Well, maybe not you exactly, but when I asked my audience in this poll which exotic rewards they would like a detailed breakdown of, more than 50% of responders said they believe the class item guide would be most helpful. I've also noticed recently that there's a sentiment that new or returning players simply cannot obtain some of the top meta loot, whether due to an assumed lack of skill or a lack of people to play with. So I'm here to try to change that narrative. If you fall into one of these categories, this video and my channel are made for you. Come join my Discord to find like-minded guardians who are looking to discover and love all that this game has to offer. Whether you're just flying back into the tower after a long break, or you're playing Destiny for the first time, let me be the first to tell you, you have all the ability in the world to obtain this top tier loot. All you need is a little guidance and some tips and tricks from a guy who's played way too much Destiny. So sit back, relax, and let's get it. First, let me break down the exotic class items so you have a clear understanding of exactly what they are, what they do, and why you should care about them. The exotic class items in Destiny are 3 unique pieces of armor that can be obtained for each Guardian class: Relativism, Solipsism, and Stoicism for Hunter, Warlock, and Titan respectively. These pieces of armor can be worn when you have the Prismatic subclass equipped, and they give you the unique ability to blend the exotic perks of 2 randomly selected armor pieces into one. Not only that, but they also allow a method for each class to potentially utilize some of the most powerful exotic perks that have only existed on other Guardian classes in the past. For example, the Titan exotic arms Syntheseps provide the Biotic Enhancements perk, which increases your melee damage by 165% when surrounded by enemies. This perk was locked to the Titan class before the final shape, but now is available to all due to its inclusion in the perk pool for the exotic class items. The loot pool for these class items does not include the perks from every exotic armor in the game, and there are limitations that Bungie has put in place. But with 64 unique combinations per class, the possibilities are nearly endless. To unlock the exotic class items on your account, you'll need to have either purchased them during the 2024 Festival of the Lost, or you'll need to complete the Dual Destiny mission on the Pale Heart. I am thankful that Bungie provided a method for acquiring these class items to a broader audience. However, this was only a half measure, as anyone who acquired their class items during Festival of the Lost are now unable to take advantage of the perk attunement screen that's available at Ghost in the Pale Heart. In the Edge of Fate, it's never been more important or more viable for Guardians to complete the Dual Destiny mission. So let's break down exactly how you can do that. After the completion of the Final Shape campaign, your Guardian will gain access to various post-campaign quests and have complete freedom to roam throughout the Pale Heart. The Pale Heart is broken down into 4 unique landing zones: the Lost City social space, where you can interact with Ghost, Micah 10, and launch post-campaign story missions, and 3 unique combat spaces: the Landing, the Blooming, and the Impasse, where you'll find an active public event type activity known as Overthrow. To unlock the Dual Destiny mission, you'll need to defeat the final boss in each area to complete the Overthrow event, and then defeat a secret Keeper's mini-boss hidden away in the areas that I will display on screen now. After killing all 3 secret keepers, you will be able to see a pillar of light in the sky coming from the Refraction, which is labeled on your map. The easiest way to get to this area is to start in the blooming and head towards the landing. Once you reach the Refraction, you will find 2 half-circle icons on your HUD, placed in the midst of groups of enemies. Defeat the enemies in this area to spawn in a Stasis and Strand Subjugator. Once you deal enough damage to both of these enemies, you'll pick up either a light or dark orb and follow the map indicator on your HUD to dunk on the corresponding plate. This will activate the light and dark plates in the room where you can now launch the Dual Destiny mission at any point in time. If you're enjoying this mission breakdown, please consider liking and subscribing to the channel. It's the best way to let the algorithm know this video is worth sharing with others. The Dual Destiny mission needs to be completed in a group of 2 players, where your subclass is fixed and must meet the requirement of 1 dark aligned and 1 light aligned subclass each. However, both players can run a prismatic subclass to meet the requirements if they would prefer. To begin the mission, stand on the light and dark plates with the correct subclasses equipped and begin to explore the anomaly. Navigate the Refraction area until you find enemies to clear out and continue beyond them until you find 2 more light and dark aligned plates. Have each player stand on the appropriate plate so you can bring down the barrier blocking off your entry deeper into the mission. You'll find a location to plant a rally banner and the new mission objective to find balance. This will begin the first encounter of the mission, which is a 3-round fight against waves of adds where your goal is to survive until you spawn in a taken mini-boss. This boss is only damageable by the Guardian with the correct light or dark alignment. Each player will be required to fend off their own ad waves and kill their own mini-bosses, which will drop a mote that can be picked up to reveal a series of pyramid symbols that will need to be communicated to the other player. These symbols will directly correlate to shootable pyramid shards that are floating in the sky above the arena that need to be destroyed to progress to the next wave. If you're not familiar with the callout for these symbols, take a moment to screenshot this video so you can have a breakdown of the official callouts from Bungie. In the example footage, I am light aligned and Batman is darkness aligned. We each go to our respective plates and defend until our mini bosses spawn in. Once defeated, we pick up our motes to begin gathering the necessary information. The best practice is to wait until all symbols have been revealed, 2 for round 1, 3 for round 2, and 4 for round 3. and have the person who can see the pyramid shard symbols shoot them all at once when reading the symbols from left to right. For example, if the light aligned person sees the symbols fleet and pyramid floating above their podiums, they will call them out reading left to right so they can be shot by the opposite person in the same order. Once all symbols have been shot, you'll be teleported to a different area and you'll begin clearing ad waves to reveal more symbols. However, the jobs will be flipped, and if you are reading the order of symbols in the first room, you will now be responsible for shooting the correct pyramid shards in the same order they are called out in the next room. Repeat this for 3 rounds total and continue your descent further into the mission. Next, you'll be granted roughly 16 minutes to complete a small jumping puzzle, which requires you to traverse through a pyramid ship-like structure, standing on the proper plates at various points to progress. Check out the path on screen to figure out exactly where to go. Once you successfully navigate through the jumping section, you will arrive in a room with a rally banner, 2 plates to be stood on, and a lock consisting of a pyramid shard and 9 individual pyramid switches connected to the bottom by a gold line. Your goal in this encounter is to kill ads, kill a tormentor that spawns, and then shoot the correct set of switches 3 times to complete the encounter and unlock the final portion of the mission. When you begin the encounter, a roughly 19-minute countdown will start along with a wave of ads. Looking at the pyramid lock, each player will see 3 switches that have no line connecting them to the shard. These switches will be unique to each player, and you'll need to take note of the numbers that each player sees that are not connected. You can number these switches however you'd like, but I would suggest starting with 1 at the top left and counting to 9 being at the top right. Once you have figured out the 6 total switches that are fake or not connected, the person who gets the final blow on the tormentor needs to shoot the 3 real switches that are connected for both players. Now, it can be disorienting and overstimulating if you don't have a build that can handle waves of enemies and keep you alive while attempting to complete the mechanics. So my suggestion is to slow down, get very clear callouts on what numbers are not connected for each person, and then assign one person to get the final blow on the tormentor so they can shoot the correct switches while the other person helps maintain the ads in the room. If you fail an input phase, the puzzle will reset, but your time will not. So you want to be sure of the code you're inputting before you begin to shoot. Well of Radiance Warlocks and Deadfall Tether Hunters are fantastic in this encounter, so if you have the opportunity, take advantage of those subclasses. Make your way through a final traversal section, killing enemies and launching yourself through cannons to reach far off platforms as you delve deeper and deeper into the mission. Once you reach the final room, you'll receive 1 final rally banner and 2 more light and dark aligned plates. When you step on the plates, your timer will reset to roughly 27 minutes, and you'll see the first of 2 subjugators and a large wave of ads will spawn in. Deal enough damage to the subjugators to spawn in 2 wizards, 1 light aligned and 1 dark aligned. Each player needs to kill their wizard so they can receive the necessary buff to reveal pyramid symbols, just as we did in the first encounter. Though this time, the symbol reader will see their symbols stacked in the center of the arena and will want to read them from top to bottom, while the symbol shooter will see their symbols dispersed throughout the room in various locations. Remember, some of these symbols will be a bit hidden, so be sure to move throughout the space to check before shooting. Once the puzzle is successfully solved, continue dealing damage until you are progressed into the next phase, where you'll kill 2 more hive wizards, and you'll need to solve another symbol puzzle, though the roles will be reversed this time. After you've dealt enough damage to remove 2/3 of each subjugator's health bar, it will be time for you to take on the clock puzzle. In this puzzle, each player will see a lock similar to the one in the second encounter. However, this time, instead of only having 9 total switches, each player will see 12 switches evenly dispersed around the exterior of the lock. The clear winning strategy on how to number these is to simply imagine a clock face overlaid and read the numbers with 12 at the top and 6 at the bottom, hence the name Clock Puzzle. The goal of this puzzle is to identify which of the connected switches match on each person's lock. Both players will see a series of 4 switches connected by a golden line. Have one player look at their lock and call out the 4 switches that are connected, while the other person listens and identifies which of the 4 is also connected on their lock. For example, if I were to call out 1, 4, 5, and 9, and the other player sees 11, 12, 3, and 5, they would tell me that 5 matches, and we would both shoot the 5 switch on our respective locks. Between each lock phase, make sure to clear out the Grim that are flying around, as they can cause a lot of confusion and issues if they stun you with their attacks. One final tip on this puzzle: if you're struggling to call out the 4 lines that are connected fast enough, see if the other person may be a bit more comfortable and swap roles. If this is not an option, prioritize looking at the lines that come directly off the center red structure to the top, right, bottom, and left, as those will be 12, 3, 6, and 9 respectively. Orient yourself by looking at those switches on the puzzle and add or subtract 1 depending on if the connected switch is to the right or the left of these cardinal directions. Finally, finish off the remaining health of both subjugators within the time limit and receive your hot new exotic class item. If you don't already know, there's a little bit of extra fun to be had at the end of this mission, but I'm going to let you discover that for yourself. You've unlocked your new exotic class item, but what should you do now? Well, if you're like me, your mind will begin to wander, thinking about all the possibilities and imagining a world where you get that perfect piece to fit your ideal build. But maybe you're not like me. Maybe you just want to be told what you should get on these class items. Either way is perfectly fine. And if you're looking for some killer combinations, here are some of the top performing combos that you should try out for yourself. Reminder, this is not an exhaustive list, but a good place to start on your journey. For my Titan brethren, you'll want to look out for class items with the following combinations: Spirit of the Assassin plus Spirit of Syntheseps, Spirit of Inmost Light plus Spirit of Alpha Lupi, Spirit of the Eternal Warrior plus Spirit of the Star Eater. For my hunters out there, look for the Spirit of Caliban plus Spirit of the Liar, Spirit of Inmost Light plus Spirit of the Surturacne, or Spirit of Verity plus Spirit of Syntheseps. And last but not least, our warlocks should be on the lookout for Spirit of the Necrotic plus Spirit of Syntheseps, Spirit of Apotheosis plus Spirit of the Star Eater, and Spirit of Inmost Light plus Spirit of Starfire. Make sure once you wrap up the mission to circle back to see Ghost in the Lost City to attune to one of the 2 perks you're looking for an increased drop chance. This attunement works with the class items that you purchase each week at Xur. So if you buy from him and get the one you're looking for, it's worth traveling back to the Pale Heart to reattune if necessary to find the next role you're chasing. One final tip: if you go to the website ingram.blue, you can access their Catch 'em All tool, which will give you a grid breakdown of all the exotic class items that you currently own on your account. This can be super helpful as you work to search for all the available combinations, or just to check to ensure you're not holding multiple of the same item in your vault. Guys, thank you very much for your feedback on the poll, as I always want to make videos you want to watch. Please comment down below to let me know if this guide has helped you, and join our Discord and post in our LFG page so you can find others who also want to complete this mission. You got this, and until next time, be blessed.